understand the human species when they today insist that men can have periods. Men can't have periods! And quite frankly, if you're bleeding once a month downstairs, gentlemen, get yourself checked. Something's wrong. Make sure you go to a private hospital. Make sure you even maybe go to a religious hospital that's not busy celebrating abortions. Get yourself checked. It is the lies and the forced parroting of those lies that make revolutionaries like Bernie Sanders evil and dangerous. You know, for a long time, we thought we knew what a Marxist was. We thought we knew what a Marxist looked like. I've spent a lot of time pointing out Marxists. I spent a lot of time pointing to Barack Obama and saying, look at the Marxist in the White House. But you know what? I thought I knew what cultural and political Marxism really was, because the signals were all there. Nationalizing medicine? Yeah, check. Hostility toward God and the rights granted to him, to every man? Yep, check. War on guns? Yep, check. So we figured we had a Marxist. But here's what I had wrong. Obama didn't have the bloodlust of a Marxist revolutionary. He was greedy. He wanted money. He became a progressive Democrat who liked Marx, and he surrounded himself with Hillary Clinton's team. That's not a Marxist revolutionary. Bernie Sanders is. Bernie Sanders hates the Democratic Party. He loves Karl Marx. He hates America, but he loves the Soviet Union. He hates the individual, unique human beings and loves the false utopia of equality for all. He hates capitalism, but he loves breadlines. He actually said breadlines are good because everybody is standing in them. Nobody has food. He hates the fact that millionaires, which he is one, get special treatment. He hates billionaires, except for Fidel Castro, who at the time of his death had $9 billion squirreled away. Bernie is a revolutionary. He is not a progressive Democrat, and certainly not just a Democrat. He's a Marxist revolutionary whose thirst for social justice and equality is all-consuming. His goal isn't to amend the Constitution, it is to destroy it utterly. It must be, because his political and moral philosophy, socialism, is completely at odds with our Constitution's subordination of the state to the natural rights of you. The Constitution details the things that government is never allowed to do, because you take those actions and you violate the rights of the individual and replace the author of those rights, God himself, with government. No matter what the problem is in society, our rights are sacred and can never be violated. But Bernie's philosophy is the opposite of that. The rights of the individual don't matter. Only the needs of the collective have to be served above all, and the collective is represented and embodied in a central state, headed by a people's committee. So they get to throw the word democracy around from time to time. But their goal is to discover and serve the needs of the state, not you, not me, the group as a whole. You can tell by the people he surrounds himself with. Have you looked at that? The self-proclaimed communists, the founders and leaders of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Occupy Wall Street, the new SDS, the modern versions of the Weather Underground terrorist organization are all on his campaign staff. These are not grassroots groups of Democrats. They are Marxist revolutionaries who believe in nothing short of the complete overthrow of the United States and destruction of the Constitution and the free market system. And please, let us stop calling them Bernie bros, because they are not my bro. They are not something that is funny. They are Bernie Bolsheviks. They are Bernie brown shirts. That's what they are. And their revolution will result in death and misery. Another Holodomor. or another Holocaust, or whatever we call the next great socialist atrocity. This fight is not new. The world has been here before. People like you and me have been battling this for generations. Our fathers and grandfathers, they fought the socialists in Germany and the communists in Russia. World War II. But in a way, they kind of had it easy. I mean, in their time, the bad guys wore black US or SS uniforms made by Hugo Boss and had little funny mustaches. But our bad guys come off just as crotchety humanity professors, whining about class warfare and how crappy white people treated the Native Americans. We have to stop pretending that socialism and its modern prophets are innocent or comedic or sideshows or just another choice. And the ghosts of over 100 million dead victims of Marxist ideology cry out to us in this generation from their blood-soaked graves to remind us this isn't a joke. This is the fight of our lives. This time is our turn. Today is our day. Today is the time. This, as Reagan said, is our point of choosing. We are called upon to carry the cross, dare I say it, of freedom and liberty for one another, for our friends and our neighbors and our kids and our grandkids, for every person that we've never even met before who has lived without the blessing of liberty, and for the future generations here in Venezuela and everywhere else who deserve freedom. Make no mistake, we are at war, and may it forever remain a Cold War. But it is a war that has been going on for a long time, and the next enemy wave right here at our gates. They are inside of our gates. And no matter how the media spins this, they're not harmless, grumpy grandpas. They're not. They're armed with pipe bombs, Molotov cocktails, and guns. They are here for revolution. The one of their professors has been telling them is just around the corner. They believe it. They may be armed with rocks and bombs and guns, but we must arm ourselves with the most effective weapon mankind has in its arsenal: courage and truth. Because I am a capitalist, let me just remind you that my new book, Arguing with Socialists, comes out April 7th. Not hard to find the truth today. Also on July 4th, I ask for you and your family to join me in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for Restoring the Covenant. We must renew our promise to God and ask Him to heal our hearts, our relationships, and our land. This is His land, and He will have a righteous and humble people. I ask you to join us and gather to restore the covenant made by the Pilgrims, George Washington, and finally Abraham Lincoln, and celebrate the facts that actually built this nation. Let us gather together this Independence Day and celebrate the Independence Day of all mankind, and strengthen ourselves, find ourselves, recognize that we now must be warriors rising in our might to burst forward in righteousness and to do battle with the enemies, not of mine, not of yours, but the enemies of God Himself. Let us take a stand against those who believe a human life has no value, that the only system, the state, the collectives, the only thing that matters. I tell you today, and I ask you to say the same thing, I will not go over the cliff with the rest of society. Truth is truth, Bernie Sanders. Men cannot have babies. 2 and 2 will always equal 4. Sweden is a free market system that has less regulation than the United States of America by far. Fidel Castro is. was and will always be a mass murderer. And no matter how many after-school reading programs he introduced, he will always be a bloodthirsty killer first and foremost. The truth is that America, even at our historic worst, will always be better than the Soviet state was, even with the beautiful chandeliers in the subways. Always. And frankly, Bernie, America will always choose the man who will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. The man who will stand up and protect the free market, not because of wealth, but because of the individual. America will always choose the individual who will stand up for our right to defend ourselves, our religious liberty. A man who loves the country, not hates it, will choose that every time, if we simply remember who we are and stand up and realize that socialism and communism build evil empires every single time, then yes, Democrats, even Donald Trump will kick your ass every single day of the weekend, twice on Election Day. It's not that hard. Here's the thing, it's time for us to pay the price of freedom and liberty. The one previously paid by our founders who risked everything, blessings of liberty, not just for themselves, but for everybody. Whatever you learned and saw this week at Cpac, however you were inspired here in the last few days and yet today, let this be our pledge to each other as we say goodbye at the end of the day and go home to our families and our jobs. Let us recognize the fight that we're actually in and the nature and the scope of our enemy's resolve. Let us recognize that we are the party and the people who protect minorities, because we are the party of and for human beings and human life. Let us always be, as we always have been, the people of liberty. Let this today be our solemn vow and oath. We owe it to one another in the future. Pay the great debt we owe to those who came before us. The duty we owe to pass this legacy that liberty and justice shall not perish from this earth. I was asked today to come and wake you up. I would ask that you would all stand. I want to do something a little unconventional. I would like you to stand and raise your right hand and swear. I'm not going to ask you to repeat after me. I'm going to ask you to say the words with me. And if you can't do that, you must recognize that you cannot fight, you cannot defend, because you don't fully know or understand. It hasn't been written and etched on your heart yet. And you will be of no use. Together, let us declare that we are awake, and together we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Amen.